Detroit done 3-3. Detroit Lions back. Welcome back, Stephen Will. Stephen Will and Will's girthy pen. Show them the people want to see the pen. Look at that bad boy, man. Jeez. Well, we gotta settle something here.
We do.
I saw some stuff on Twitter. People are asking a question. Before we get into it, hit that subscribe button for us. But the people want to know, who is the greatest Detroit Lions quarterback of all time? Is it Jared Goff or is it Matthew Stafford? I think those are the two leading candidates.
I'm a little bit confused why Rodney Peete isn't in this conversation.
Stop it.
Eric Kramer.
Stop.
Charlie Batch.
Stop.
Joey Harrington.
The only name I'll allow would be John Kitna.
Beast. Absolute beast.
Dante Culpepper. No, the two big names, Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel? But before we get into who you would take as the face of the Detroit Lions franchise at the quarterback position, how do you feel about both of them?
Before I state my case here, I do want to say, I'll tell you that I will not hold Kelly Stafford against my dude Matt, because if I did, Matt would just be immediately out of the running. She just drives me nuts. Yeah, that poor man. He's a saint.
Worse than Brittany Mahomes?
Oh, they're close.
She's up there.
Yeah, they're both up there, man. Like, poor Matt can't even be in the spotlight by himself, man. But that being said, I could really make this a very short episode, and just say this: Jared Goff. I mean, the chants are world renowned now.
Yeah, I'll say this. I got into a little debate on a text thread with some friends. I'm not going to call you guys out, but it kind of just got me thinking, like, how can you guys say Matthew Stafford's the number one quarterback of all time for the Detroit Lions when he didn't win jack shit here? Now, if you care about yards, if you care about touchdowns, if you care about individual accolades, yeah, Matthew Stafford's your guy. But when you go to Ford Field next time, look up in the stands, see that banner hanging that says 2023 NFC North champions. That means we had a home playoff game at Ford Field for the first time since 1991 when Matthew Stafford was like 4 years old. So for me, it's a no-brainer. It's Jared Goff. I know Stafford played here for 12 years, and when he was drafted out of Georgia way back in 2009, he was supposed to turn the franchise around, and he did a couple times. A couple times we got in the playoffs, but just never got that home playoff game, never got that playoff win. So I just can't give him the crown.
Hey, listen, I really, really appreciate everything that Matt Stafford did for the Detroit Lions in the city, to include being a part of a package that turned this team around. But that being said, after I watched Jared Goff have a turnover-free postseason and just play great football, and if you watch the show religiously, you know I am not a Jared Goff lover. I'm a Jared Goff liker.
You're really, actually, I'll say this: I think you're scared of Jared Goff because of what the future could hold and what could cripple and handicap this team a little bit.
Steve, you have never been more right. You have never been more right.
And I'm in the same boat. I'm scared of him.
Absolutely terrified of Jared Goff because he is playing really well. He's not playing great. He's playing really well. And I just worry that if we pay him elite money, is really well enough to start losing people. But that we'll save that for another show. That being said, if I got to talk about greatest Lions quarterbacks, to me, that would be like not saying Jared Goff would be like saying that Tom Brady's Super Bowls don't matter, and we're just talking about athleticism and yada 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 whatever. You gotta take where you take teams into consideration, not just yards because you were playing from behind and you were on 0-16 teams and throwing for 1 million yards because we passed the ball 50 times a game. So I got to say that Jared Goff, for me, is the best Detroit Lions quarterback of all time.
I'm with you 100%. I'll say this, and this isn't like a show we're not trying to bash Matthew Stafford. It's probably a really close race. It's really close.
Absolutely.
Matthew Stafford had some opportunities. I mean, you could look at this 2023 team and say, well, Jared Goff had the offensive line. He had the 2 running backs. He had Amon-Ra St. Brown. I can counter argue that and say just one name, Calvin Johnson. Matthew Stafford had Calvin Johnson, a generational wide receiver who set records themselves, Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame simply because of Matthew Stafford, because he never really played with another quarterback. I mean, it was one season, but mainly Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
It's just I look at wins. Like, I can't come on the show and talk about how, when the Lions are giving up a ton of yards, but we're still winning the game. Like Matthew Stafford, you had 5,000 passing yards in a season. That's great, but we just didn't win shit with you. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Love you. We were glad to have you, but that trade ended up working out for both of us, kind of. I think Detroit's still a little bit behind in that trade because Matthew's got his Super Bowl and we don't. Yeah, it's all about the rings.
Yeah, man, it is. You're definitely not wrong about that, man. I'm hoping that our rings are coming, though.
Oh, next season. I have no doubt in my mind. I can't live through another season like this one where my heart gets broken like that.
Is that a hot take for the Detroit Den fans here? We telling them to go to Vegas and put their money down right now?
I think they'll be a favorite. I think they'll be in the top 3. I mean, we're bringing back both coordinators, pretty much our whole entire offense. We're going to beef up that offensive line a little bit, get some depth, but our whole offense is coming back.
Yeah.
So what do we got to really address in free agency? Defense and same in the draft. Defense. Unbelievable.
Sorry, guys.
Unbelievable. I guess it's time to wake up at 5:10 in the afternoon. Yeah, I mean, our whole offense is coming back. We'll have to, do a little talking about some centers and guards. But other than that, all of our skill position players, besides Josh Reynolds, are under contract for next year.
Yep.
So looking at free agency in the draft, we got to tighten up some defensive stuff.
Yeah, man. Let's not make it a small thing. We got some things to address defensively.
Well, let me ask you this, and you might not know the answer. Can you think of a recent time where a team has gone to the NFC Championship and then the following season they brought back both coordinators? It's been a while. I mean, I'm sure there's something out there, but it usually doesn't happen. And we're talking like Ben Johnson, he should have been a head coach. He had some opportunities. Aaron Glenn. We're running it back with everyone next year. Like, everyone's coming back. I'm excited. I think we're at like 223 days until kickoff. I put a little calendar in my phone because I'm already starting to get in that mindset. But, off-season stuff's coming. I like doing some draft stuff.
Yeah.
I've been digging into the Senior Bowl. We're going to talk about that coming up here pretty soon once we get some more names. But I think Detroit will be a favorite in the Super Bowl contention next year.
Top 3, you think, huh?
Yeah, why not?
I think
Brad's going to be aggressive, if not in free agency, in the draft. You won't see him aggressive in both, I don't think. But I think in one of them, he's either going to sign 2 or 3 guys, or he's going to move up in the draft. I think those are 2 scenarios. You're not going to get both, but one of those scenarios will happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're right. I think it's going to be free agency. I think now's our time. When you're drafting at 29, how aggressive can you be? So, because I don't think he'll sell our draft. I don't think he's going to sell out to move up in the first round. So, how aggressive is he going to be? I don't know that I would consider trading back into the second round to get to our extra second round pick or something aggressive. I don't know, maybe. But I like what you said before a couple of shows ago, that you wanted to get some guys that were proven in the NFL, not guys that we had to wait on to develop. I think we're at that stage of this. I don't even know what you want to call it. I'll say process, because it's no longer a rebuild. We've arrived. So I think we're at the stage of the process where we're getting pieces to lock in runs now.
I will say this, and I have to stick to my mantra for the rest of the season and not slip up on what I'm saying. But I will say, I don't want to see Brad Holmes draft any more projects. I want to see proven guys on the field. No more Hendon Hookers, no more Broderick Martins. I want guys who are going to contribute, not that we're going to sit on the shelf for 3 years in certain draft scenarios, because I look at it like this. Hendon Hooker's great. He could be phenomenal. I don't see him playing for the Lions. With how Goff has played, how are you going to get Hendon Hooker involved unless Goff goes down with an injury? I know he's like an insurance policy, but I look at it like that was a 3rd round pick. That was something we could have used in that NFC Championship game to get us over the hump, and we could be playing in 11, 12 days, whatever it is.
I think Hendon Hooker was still an absolute phenomenal pick, because if we sign Jared Goff to a 3-year deal, we're still going to come out of that with Hendon Hooker being 29 years old. So I mean,
29. That's an old man. That's
you still got. I mean, the average NFL quarterback that plays at a high level, the starters, they last till around 34 years old. So I mean, that even if that gave us 4 seasons, he's not going to have a lot of wear and tear on him if he's been sitting behind Jared Goff, and if he's got the skills that we think that we have or that he has. I think that'll work out just perfectly, and it'll be one of those things to where, hey man, we don't miss a beat. This thing just keeps rolling. And if it goes through the whole term of Jared Goff and he hasn't played, he'll still be relatively cheap. He won't be as cheap as a $5 value menu when you're only paying him $1 million, but it'll still be relatively $0.
I'll just say this. In 2023, you drafted Hendon Hooker, passed up on a guy by the name of Yaya Diaby, who almost had 9 sacks, and that could have been something that put us over the hump in the NFC Championship. We drafted a guy who made no impact on the 2023 team. 2 of them, if you really want to count Broderick Martin, who looked really good in hoodies all season. Yeah. I got drafted, gets free hoodies. That's what he does.
He put 11 good hard snaps in for us.
Stop. He played about as many snaps as Emmanuel Mosley. Let's be honest with each other. So, yeah, I'm back to topic, though. Jared Goff. So we talked about something that kind of scares us is it's not Goff. It's that money he's going to want. So when you talk about elite money, the player comparison has been Daniel Jones, who got $40 million. Jared Goff's getting more than $40 million. Jared Goff is better than Daniel Jones.
You know what's funny is I actually had this discussion earlier today, and to me, Daniel Jones isn't even the discussion. He's the minimum discussion because I think he's way better than Danny Dimes. So, and then it factors into what the guy, I'm not going to out him, but the guy that I was talking to was talking about. He was telling me that, man, Jared Goff is a top 5 quarterback, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Then you have to pay him top 5 quarterback money. If you believe he's a top 5 quarterback, you have to pay him top 5 quarterback money. That's $50 million.
Yeah, that's what scares me.
I mean,
the logic is right. The logic is right. If you're going to say he's a top 5 quarterback, you can't say, well, I'm going to pay him top 15 money. You speak it, you pay it. So, that's how it goes.
Yeah, that's how it goes, man. So for all of you guys that are saying Jared Goff is the GOAT, I'm not knocking you for your opinion. I think that Jared Goff is a really good quarterback, but if he's the GOAT, you have to pay him like the GOAT, which is $50 million. What does that look like? Hopefully, to me, it looks like a 3-year deal for $150. Because if it's not 3 years and $150, hopefully front loaded with signing bonuses and incentives, then there's gonna be some problems.
Yeah, if we can get that to where it's like a yearly salary of like 30-ish mil, and we defer a lot of that into a signing bonus and incentives and stuff, then I'll be okay. Yeah. But if it's straight on the books, $50 million a year, that's your cap space, $50 million in cap space, we've got a problem because we've broken down before who we got coming up in free agency. Penei Sewell's coming up. Aiden Hutchinson's 3 years away. Amon-Ra St. Brown's coming up. Taylor Decker's coming up. Frank Ragnow's coming up. Like, if you want to keep the offensive line and the weapons together, someone's walking. Jonah Jackson, that's another one. We're probably going to have to make a decision on him.
Did you say Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
But if you're paying Jared Goff $50 million a year, you might be losing 2 or 3 guys. If you can get that down to $30 million with some incentives and bonus, we'll be okay. I'll be a lot more comfortable that way.
Can I let the people know something?
Is this your coming out time?
No, I already been out. Penei Sewell is going to get paid like a left tackle.
Oh, yes. He's going to get –
he's
going to set the market.
Yeah, he's going to set the market for right tackles because he could play left tackle. And we never know what's going to happen. Maybe we move on from Decker. Not saying that we are, but maybe we move on from Decker and then we move him over. We never know what the situation is going to be. But either way it goes, he's going to get paid like a left tackle. Penei Sewell, max deal. Amon-Ra St. Brown, probably a max deal or close to a max deal. So, I mean, guys, it's only so much money to go around.
Yeah, so that's just what scares us. It's nothing about Goff. It's what he's going to handicap the team or handcuff the team into being. Because we kind of saw it in the playoffs where he wasn't elite. He wasn't the reason we won games, but he was the reason we didn't lose. He was like, we don't like, I know people are offended when you call guys a game manager, but that's kind of what Goff is. Like he went out 270 and one or two touchdowns a game. Like that's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
He's not putting up Mahomes numbers where he's throwing for 375, 4 touchdowns and running for another 60 yards and picking up 4 first downs with his legs. That's not what he's doing, but we're just worried about the contract. We're worried about what it's going to handcuff this team into being in the next 2 or 3 years. That's all.
My argument for Jared Goff was this. Jared Goff is never going to be the guy where everything is going wrong and Jared says, you know what? We're not losing this game. I'm just going to throw you guys on my back. I'm going to run the ball. I'm going to pass the ball. I'm going to make improvisational or I can't even get the word out.
Improvisation.
I'm gonna make improv plays. Yeah, but and on the fly, I'm gonna make things happen. You see Mahomes, he's getting tackled, he's throwing the ball sideways and doing all types of crazy stuff. So I just don't think he's ever gonna be that guy, which he doesn't necessarily have to be. But that's the difference for me. So 50 million. If we're giving you that 50 mil, it's got to be for 3 seasons.
And broken down with bonuses.
Yes.
That's my thing. I cannot pay him 50 million a year flat out. Like, hey, you're getting 3 years, 150 million. I mean, obviously these are going to be bonuses, but if your salary cap from your quarterback is $50 million, we have a huge problem. If we can get that down somewhere between like 38 would be like a
that's about
like
where he's at right now.
My baseline number. Yeah, but his bonuses weren't as high from his last contract. So I mean, here, I'm just going to give you a fucking fat check. Go cash this bad boy. Now I'm going to pay you this for the next 3 years. I think that'll get it done.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I think that he enjoys being here in Detroit. The fans absolutely love him. I think the last 3 games of the season, from the Rams on, we'll say, once they started Jared Goff chants, and man, I think that really was something special for him. I felt the energy personally. And if I was him, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, but it's got to be right economically.
Yeah, it's got to fit. We can't lose everyone to pay Jared Goff. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
But we've covered a lot of stuff tonight, guys. We've talked about Jared Goff versus Matthew Stafford. We've talked about Jared Goff and his contract coming up. We've kind of hinted at some offseason stuff we're going to be diving into here real soon. There's some names from the Senior Bowl that I'm really, really liking for the Detroit Lions that are realistic options. Not going to get fully into that. Me and Will are going to get together. We're going to talk about that more in depth later, but we're getting ready for free agency. We're getting ready for the draft. 2 things we like looking out for. The Pajama Olympics as well is coming up pretty soon. So leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, or another quarterback if you're an old timer who remembers some guys from the 1950s who played from the Lions, just a little not really up my alley. You know what I'm saying? So leave a comment, hit that like button. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a lot, guys. We'll be back later with some more content.
Peace.